Hello and welcome to episode 59 of Pacific Horseplayers right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I am your host, Noah Meagher, joined by Jackson Muniz and Ryan Anderson, of course. And we've got a doozy for you tonight. Opening day at Santa Anita moved to Sunday, originally scheduled Friday, moved to Sunday. Rain, go away. We are hoping that the rain does not affect these races on Sunday because that would suck. But anyways, we're going to talk about races 6, 8, 9, 10, and 11 for you guys because we actually just talked about 4, 5, and 7 at Santa Anita on a show we just did about an hour and a half ago, our first episode of Wire to Wire. So if you haven't checked that out, please do so. And with the holidays, it's a bit of an atypical schedule around here on the HHH Racing Podcast. But if you are interested in our weekly schedule, you can see that scrolling on the bottom of the screen. It typically goes ourselves, PHP, on Tuesday nights, Benton and Booze on Wednesday nights, and Picks and Ponies wrapping up the week on Thursday night. So if you're interested in that, please check us out during the week. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. We've got our regular Power Picks tip sheet, of course, that we offer. 2 cards, ABC grids, spot plays, you name it. Got a good ROI over there, so go ahead and check those out. And we've got our premium subscription. Our Team HHH membership is now live for the year 2026. So you can go find out all about that mumbo jumbo at our website, hhhracingpodcast.com. I think that's everything that I need to take care of as of now. There'll be some more promotional stuff as we go throughout the show, but I know we're very excited. Ryan, Jackson, I'll throw it to you guys. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are we for opening day Sunday?
I would say 8, only because they moved it and I couldn't move I got the day off on purpose so I could go, and then they moved it, which they absolutely should have. It was the correct call, but now I don't think I can go live. But the card came up tremendous. I mean, A lot of good horses running, the 3 grade 1s. This should be really good.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic day of racing, as opening day at Santa Anita always is. It's as good an opening day as you'll find anywhere. I'd say I'm like a solid 9. I have no reason to not be stoked because, whether they move opening day or not, that's still a day of work for me. So I got to go out there. It'll be fun. Be hanging with Team O'Neill. We got some fun runners going. Yeah.
Rank.
That's on the 27th. That's on the 27th.
Yeah, he runs on, what is that, Saturday?
Yeah.
And they go around no matter what out there. Promise you that.
Oh, yeah. No, going back to the scale thing, I was going to put the line at about 3 to 5. That one of you guys said 6 or 7. But
well, I thought you were going to go like on a scale of like 0 to 8. How excited are you? And then you could say like 6 to 7 and it'd be close. But
yeah, but you got to go attritional 1 to 10. I mean, 0 to 8.
I guess. But if we're not that excited, if we're a 6 to 7 on the scale of 10 for Santa Anita, why are we doing the show?
67 out of 100, maybe. I guess that's probably still.
That's the exact same percentage as 10.
We're not great mathematicians out here, but we actually, funny enough, do have a good mathematician that will be joining us. He is a math teacher, and it sounds like he's got a special gift for us. So we're going to go ahead and bring him on. He is the founder. He is our uncle, and he is Howard Kravitz. Howard, thanks for joining us. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. What an honor and privilege to be on Pacific Horseplayers. You invited the old guy on. I got out of my wheelchair and found a way to get on the show. Guys, it's a 10 plus for me. I love opening day at Santa Anita. And coincidentally, the very first time I was at Santa Anita ever in my life was the week that they actually moved it because of a lot of rain. I think it was 2018. I'd have to go back and look. But the last time they actually moved it, I was there because of rain. But anyway, I'm really excited. And yes, I do have a surprise. I said a surprise, no, not a gift. But I think people will view this as a gift after they see it. So did you want me to talk about it now? All right. So as everyone knows, usually at the end of the year, we change the season, right? For example, Picks and Ponies has been going on for 5 seasons because we've had 5 years of the show. And so starting in January will be season 6. Well, Pacific Horseplayers has actually been on for more than a year. But I thought we would sort of reminisce a little bit and go into the Wayback Machine because on September 25th of 2004, Mr. Noah Meagher and Ryan Anderson made their debut of Pacific Horseplayers. And, it was at a very interesting location. Let's take a look at the first 20 seconds of the very first Pacific Horseplayers. The sound should work.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Pacific Horseplayers right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. We are very excited to get this show underway for you guys. I am your host, Noah Meagher, joined by my good friend and co-host, Ryan Anderson. We are very excited to cover the first annual California Crown Stakes for you guys tonight. I'm very excited to get this show going for you guys. We're going to be covering a lot of good stuff, especially on the West Coast. Very excited for it. Ryan, how are we doing tonight?
There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
We got to bring those back. We got to bring back the headphones.
Yeah, we don't care how Ryan's feeling. You can just stop.
Noah. Two questions, Noah. You know I'm a teacher. Everyone knows I'm a teacher. Number one is, what grade do you give yourself for the intro? And number two, explain what the heck was going on, because you were quite frantic that day. If you recall, there was some issue outside with some line or some internet issue, and I remember talking to you, and it wasn't your best day. You're a little bit nervous about the show, and also what grade you give yourself. But overall, congratulations, my friend, on a more than a year of Pacific Horseplayers. You've come a long way, and this show is just awesome.
Yeah, well, answer the first question. The grade that I would give myself is a D, and that D would be a 67%. And then the second question, yes, there was some kind of internet outage. I think when somebody mowed the lawn back here, they like cut the cord because they hadn't dug it under the ground yet for the internet. But anyway, I had to do it from the library for I think the first two or three episodes. And it was a pain because I had to drive all the way there. I don't live that close to the library. I think it's probably 15 minutes. And I had to lug this monitor that I use. And people were just like looking at me funny when I walked in. So yeah, it was quite the start to the show, but we made it here and we brought on Jackson. That show was PJ, as I like to reference, pre-Jackson. But
yeah,
we brought Jackson and good things to come.
Well, no, I also want to show that, Ryan. Sorry to interrupt. I want to show it because, look, I was very raw when I started this podcast, and you can see Jackson and Ryan. His delivery was slower, a little more nervous, a little more monotone. And look at him now; he's a grown young man. He's a superstar podcast host. So sorry, Ryan, I cut you off. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I debuted Pacific Horseplayers in Tulum. I was in the wrong country. I was just out there. It looked like we were both in a prison, though, Noah. We both just had white walls behind us. Did not look. It looked like we were being held for ransom. But Jackson, you've got a two-tone wall behind you, and yeah.
Anyway, I thought you get a good kick out of that, Noah. So congratulations.
Yeah, no. I don't typically watch the shows back, so that was pretty cool to see. Also, Jackson's got like not only does he have the two-tone, but he's got it like right down the middle. I mean, I know. It's like splitting him right in half. Anyway, this is a handicapping show, so maybe we should go ahead and
I guess so.
Start doing that. Like I said, we talked about races 4, 5, and 7 at Santa Anita for the show Wire to Wire that we just talked about. So we're going to talk about races 6, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And our conversation will start with the Grade 2 Lafitte Pinkai Junior Stakes. It is on the screen now. 1:37 local time for those two boys. $200,000 purse, a mile and a 16th on the main track. We probably won't talk about this race for too long because A, there are only 7 horses, and B, it's most likely that only 2 of them can win. And those 2 are the number 1 Nisos at 3 to 5 in the morning line, coming back after a stellar performance in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile with Flavian Pratt and Bob Baffert. And then the other Baffert entrant, the up-and-comer, the late season 3-year-old Nevada Beach for Juan Hernandez at 2 to 1. Let's see who we are going with in the first race of our discussion. And we're all chalking out. I'm going 1-7-3. Jackson's going 1-3-2. Ryan's going 1-2-3. And Howard is going 1-7-3. Ryan, I would be remiss if I didn't let you talk about this horse first. It is your reigning Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile champion and a favorite of yours. So floor is yours.
Yeah, this has to be my favorite horse in training. I mean, this pick 6 starts out pretty easy. This is a stone cold single. This is, some might say the greatest horse since Flightline. I don't know who's saying it, but some people might say it. Last time he lost to the toughest horse to beat in November at Del Mar in Citizen Bull, who just runs his eyeballs out that first weekend of November. But all seriousness, he doesn't have a race on this page that loses. He is just so consistent, and he's faced so much better. So that's pretty much all you need to say on Nisos there.
No, I completely agree. I know we've got some different combos for second and third, and I think actually Howard and I have the same second and third. You guys have the same 2 horses for second and third, but you've got them flip-flopped. Howard, I'll go to you. Any comment on Nisos, maybe how he loses this race, and your odds that you think the 7 maybe has a chance of upsetting?
I'm not sure about upsetting, but maybe you and I are thinking the same way, Noah. I mean, you want to get some value in this race if you're going to bet it. You're not going to get value on the win out of Nisos. I agree with Ryan. This is a Stolen Cold single, but maybe Bartholdi underneath could maybe hold on for second. It looks like to me by the pace projector, Noah, I don't know if you feel the same way. This horse might get loose. I mean, there's not a lot of speed in this race. I think Nisos would be perfectly content letting the 7 go. If the track's a little speed favoring, which it might be because there's going to be some moisture in it, if not on the surface itself, but underneath, if you guys know what I mean. I mean, it could be play very fast and inside speed bias. And man, I mean, he ran really well last time. I know he was sort of struggling there at the end, but 22-1, 44 and change. I mean, can he get a mile and 16th? Probably not, but really he doesn't only need to maybe get a mile and just hang on for second. And maybe we get, an 8-1 on our exacta. That's the only way I see really playing this race. Otherwise, you just watch Nisos and his glory win, most likely.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see Tyler just kind of send out of there and take your chances on the front end. I do think he's good and he's respectable. This is obviously not his preferred distance, but I do think he might be talented enough if he gets to the front end to maybe hang on for a piece. And I think the only one that probably would give him some pace pressure is this horse, Jackson, who Ryan has in second and you do have in third. Boy, he ran a blinder. I think that was that Breeders' Cup undercard, either Friday or Saturday. Big effort there with a 93 buyer at 12-1. And I have to assume DeSormo's probably going to be sending from the inside.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be close. I don't think he's going to be on the pace necessarily, but he won't be too far out of it. He's just too slow to win this race, isn't he? I mean, he needs Nisos not to show up. He also needs Nevada Beach not to show up, and maybe even British Isles, who ran pretty well last time, not to show up as well, for him to be there in the winner's circle. I'm not saying it's impossible. He's going the right way. He's been improving with each and every start, but he seems a little against this group. I will say I'm not as sold as you guys on Nisos in here. I know I have him on top, but this is not a race I won't be betting because doesn't it just really feel like a bridge? Like he won the Breeders' Cup, and that was his big race. They're just getting a race from him here, and I believe the plan is to go to Saudi next. So I can't imagine he's 100% to win on Sunday. I can't imagine he's maybe even 90% to win on Sunday. If he's ever going to lose, it's going to be this race. I don't want to bet on him to do that, but I also don't want to bet against him either. So we're mostly going to watch.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Looking to bigger and better things, I think is probably the direction that they are going to go and the connections with Nisos. So we'll go ahead and move on. We are skipping race 7. We are going to race 8 and talk about a difficult race. I thought you can make an argument that this was the most difficult race on the card. It's the Grade 1 La Brea presented by Don Julio. We love our tequila out here on the West Coast. $300,000 purse going 7 furlongs on the main track for straight 3-year-old fillies. You can see a big field of 11 and the morning line favorite to the 9. Formula Rosa for Mike Smith and Mark Ladd at 3-1. Second choice, the South Florida Invader 5G for Irad Ortiz and George Weaver at 7-2. Let's see who we're going with in this year's La Brea. I'm going 8-9-11. Jackson's going 10-8-9. Ryan's going 2-7-4. And Howard is going 3-9-8. Jackson, let's go to you because you've got a bomber on top. You've got the 10 Magnificat, Spendthrift Runner, DeMuro, Mandela at 20-1. Coming off of a nice win last time, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. And looking at this race as a whole, I don't really trust these favorites. And I won't be surprised if Formula Rosa wins or maybe if 5G can cut back to a sprint with a long layoff. Like those won't be surprising results. But I don't really trust them to do that either. And I wanted to go price shopping a little bit in here. I think Magnificat is lightly raced. She's paired with Spire Tops. And if you watch that race back at Del Mar, I thought she had the worst of it trip-wise by far. I mean, she was always between horses. She didn't get a breather at any point in the race. She took it to Brilliantly, who was 4-5 in there, put that horse away, took on a challenge from Artisma, turning for home, and shook off all challenges in that spot. And out of the 3 horses that are also returning here, I think she had the worst of the trip. So I have to bet her back in this spot. especially if she's going to be a way bigger price than those two. And she also got the best of the draw. So I'm going to pick her on top in here. I don't know if we're going to get 20-1, but I could see it getting like 12-100.
Yeah, and I saw some chatter on social media that people were a little surprised that she was 20-1 in this spot, just because the other two horses that she had faced were considerably lower on the morning line, which kind of leads me to believe that she probably won't be. Now, she's lightly raced. She fought last time. I do agree with that. Maybe this is kind of too much too soon, but Mandela's really not that kind of guy. So I have to respect the decision to throw him in this race, and I do like the direction that you're going with the 10 Magnificat. Howard, let's go to you. Go ahead, Ryan.
Just to Jackson's point on the 10, I know 20-1 maybe seems a little bit steep, but Mandela trained the winner of this race last year at, I think, 37-1. And she has gone on to have quite the year in 2025, talking about Copian, of course.
Yeah, you guys remember that day pretty vividly, don't you?
Yeah, you had no reaction for having that horse in your pick 5 at 40-1. It was nuts. That was what I remember most.
It's like the Kobe 2-0 thing. Job's not finished. Can't celebrate when the pick 5 is not done.
There you go.
Howard, 5G. Haven't seen her since the end of March. Had some good figures, and if she improves, I think she's a major player in here.
I think so. We should talk about two things real quick now, and you're the host, so I'll let you expound as much as you want. First of all, shout out to Lafitte Pinkai and Santa Anita for naming a race after Lafitte Pinkai in race 6. Very cool, number one. Number two, there are not a lot of horses outside of California running this weekend, and it's not California's fault. It's a transportation issue. So again, I'm just going to stop at that. If you guys want to talk more about that, it is a story, whether people like it or not. It is a story for Sunday. 5G is one of those horses that actually is coming from out of town, but it looks like she's been there for a little bit. Guys, this is a very soft pick. You sort of hinted at, Noah. Someone's got to sit a little bit in behind because there's just a ton of early speed. And on paper, I think Irat's going to sit a great trip here. I've always liked this horse a little bit. I know there's a lot of ones on her page, but that's going longer. I see no reason based on the breeding. This is a filly by Vekoma, that she could be doing fine sprinting. And isn't this a very aggressive spot, guys? I mean, George Weaver could certainly run in a race. Like, for example, the Rampart, which I'm going to see at Gulfstream coming up, which is a mile race on Friday. I mean, there's a lot of spots he could choose.
Yeah. And
he decides to go here and Irat. I know it's going to lower the price. I would not bet this horse anywhere near 7-2 or 4-1. This horse would have to drift a little bit, to be honest, on the win end. But I just think she's very logical, and she's going to sit a great trip. And I think she can rate if necessary. She's been working well, too. So the intention is here, but it's a very tough race. It's not my strongest opinion.
Yeah, I agree with the point of the intention, because I've got too much respect for George Weaver for him to ship across the country off this long of a layoff if she's not going to be ready to go. So although I don't have her in the top 3, if I'm playing the pick 5, I'm definitely going to have her on some tickets. Ryan, you're going a little bit of a different direction, and maybe this is something that you heard through the grapevine working with Doug O'Neill these past couple weeks, but you're going with a Dougie trained horse and a 15-1 shot in the number 2. So there she was.
Yeah, real quick for 5G and those horses coming from out of town. Jackson and I had on Will Humphrey, who works very closely with the Grand Motion Barn, just after that kind of news came out, and he had some pretty strong opinions of the fact that they have to van across the country to get here, and because of that, the horses that van back for Grand Motion, he kind of hinted at the fact that they're going to have to go get laid up at the farm. These trips are not easy to do in a van for these horses, so any horse that's shipping in from out of town via van, which is a good handful on this card, I'm not going to play any of them. I think that what Will said, that sentiment has stuck with me. It takes a lot out of a horse to ship across the country and then to expect to race. This horse was in Palm Beach Downs as late as November 28th and then shipped out here. Had a very slow work on the 19th, which is a little bit abnormal for the kind of works that we've seen from 5G. But all of these out-of-town shippers, I'm not going to play. They're going to have to beat me because, those words I've heard about how tough that ship can be, I think that's something to pay attention to. And I'll go to So There She Was now, right to the inside. The beginning of every great story starts with So There She Was, according to our buddy Shane O'Neill. So look, she's been working lights out recently. This is nothing I've heard through the grapevine. This is just an angle that I like. This is a horse cutting back, going 9 furlongs at Aqueduct, shipped back over here. But Aqueduct, very tiring track. That was in a grade 2, losing to Fully Subscribed, who came right back out to win her next race. Drexel Hill is a very nice horse as well. Look, coming out here, having that stamina going 7 furlongs, this is a horse that can certainly sit and pass. This is a horse that has done some of her best running, given a lot of that was as a 2-year-old, but from off the pace and being able to pass those runners, I know she can, reserve and save that speed until they turn for home. 7 furlongs feels like the right kind of distance. They have to fly early in here. And I know those works have been really quick. She's very spry out of the gate. I just think she's going to have ample foundation from 3 straight route races, all going 2 turns, now cutting back to the 7 furlongs. I think she'll have that finish when others are kind of looking for that sort of bottom there. So I got to take So There She Was on top.
I like it. And I mean, boy, this is if there isn't a race to pick a spot and get a price, I mean, I don't know what there is. I mean, this would be the spot for sure. I'm going to go Her Laugh, 6-1 on the morning line. Last time at Churchill, we hadn't seen her as well since the end of March, and she had run some pretty good races, I thought. Her debut was good, and then Whitworth Beckman at the time had stretched her out to 2 turns and kind of got her on that Oaks Trail. Obviously something happened, but they come back sprinting, and I didn't think she got a very favorable setup in that race. Now, I know there were only 5 horses, but you had 2 favorites in Moto and Lynn's Milky Way, who we saw Lynn's Milky Way at Keeneland, who I thought ran a respectable effort. And it kind of seemed on paper like those 2 were supposed to go. And whoever was on Lynn's Milky Way that day just decided that they were going to let Moto go. And Moto didn't stop. I mean, she ran a big fig that day. I thought Her Laugh ran well to run second off the bench. Now been working at Prairie Meadows. Yes, I hear the concern that there is going to be some trouble maybe coming over in that taxing trip from the East Coast to the West Coast. But you're going to get a fair price on anybody. So I'm going to hope I get close to 6-1 on Her Laugh. Jackson, you've got her third. Jackson, you've got second. Howard, you've got her third. Any comment from either of you about her chances on Sunday?
Go ahead, Jackson.
No, I echo everything you said. And with all these East Coast horses that actually did make the trip, I mean, it's got to be taken as a huge sign of confidence, because it's not as easy as just putting them on a plane and they're going to be there in a couple hours. Like, they got to van them 2 days, 3 days. I mean, they got to be really confident that these horses are going to be able to run well in this race for them to put them through this. So I would be putting extra attention to these East Coast horses on Sunday for sure.
I want to just comment on that too. And I have full respect for Will Humphrey. He's an excellent analyst and does great work in the money. I'm not going to, and he knows horses better than I do. So I'm not going to say he's wrong, but I sort of feel like Jackson, like they know it's going to be a tough ship. So, maybe just like humans, right? Some humans can handle travel better than others. And it's not like they're shipping in 2 or 3 days before the guys, right? I mean, Her Laugh has been there, and the previous horse we mentioned, 5G's probably been there longer because she worked obviously a few days before Her Laugh. So they have plenty of time to get like a week, right? 8 days, 9 days, they get acclimated, etc. And to work over the track. I'm not as negative as Ryan is to this situation, but I fully understand it. I almost put the horse on top. No, you're 8. It's the kind of horse I like. I don't know. It was a small field last time, and I know that there wasn't a lot of speed, but that horse ran into no trouble at all and just sort of ran her kind of maximum race based on the field, which was pretty weak other than the winner. So I like her. I'm not sure she's that talented, but maybe she is.
Yeah, and you've got the 9 in second. I'll let you touch on her, and then we'll go back to Ryan for a couple horses that he's got underneath. Arguably the horse to beat. It's just a matter of whether she's going to get a trip, because as we talked about, there is plenty of speed in here.
Yeah, look, I mean, isn't she? I know a lot of people don't like Mike Smith. That's fine. I'm not, his hugest fan anymore. But geez, guys, isn't she? She's got moto figs. I mean, isn't she clearly the fastest horse in this race? If she can get a trip, and she's been working great, and I love Glatt. I mean, why not? Again, I wouldn't probably bet her at 3-1. I'd probably need 4-1, which we're not going to get. But again, a very confident move. I mean, I didn't see the work in 111, but boy, she looks like just an outright sprinter and really, really talented. So I'm going to use her. But again, I'm going to use many in this race.
Yeah, no, I think we are very much thinking similarly. Ryan, you've got a 50-1 shot in second in the number 7 Schilf lead, and then you've also got Artisma. So you've got a 15-1 and a 50-1, and you are given the opportunity to sell us on why those two can get a piece.
Yeah, I mean, Schnellified at 50-1, an absolute bomb to blow things up. But the dam produced a low-level dirt sprinter, so there is some dirt in that pedigree there. On top of that, Mendelssohn does fine on either surface. And this is another one that I think is just going to be sitting behind the pace, has enough speed to kind of be forward and be tactical. But more importantly, likes to pass horses and is going to have plenty of foundation from those more trying turf efforts. Comes out of the grade 3 where obviously didn't do much running there towards the end. But this is another one that I think can just kind of sit the right sort of trip. And it's not going to take much. If they really fly up front and they really go fast, this is one that could very well be, picking up pieces. Has to have a pretty substantial jump up in class. I know 50-1 is a little bit huge, and you're probably going to get that. But I mean, if this horse comes in third or rounds out the supers, that's gonna spice things up. So that's mainly how I'm going to use this horse. And then Artisma, the number 4, lost to Magnificat last time. Arguably had an easier go of things. Kind of has that second-itis with those 5 second-place finishes. This is another one that I just think with the blinkers on might be a little more focused. That typically, when I see those seconds start to rack up and they throw the blinkers on, maybe this horse is just having that tendency clearly to hang on other horses and not really get the job done. Blinkers sometimes can really help with that finishing ability, and I really enjoy that Edwin Maldonado stays aboard. That means he's going to get forward, but as we saw in that last race, was comfortable with Edwin sitting just off the pace and should again get that run turning from home. And it comes in pairing up those top speed figures, as Jackson likes to always point out. So that's just another one that I'm picking all bombs, all prices in this race because I think this thing could really fall apart.
And you've got the 5 Usha, who had run some really respectable races at Del Mar over the summer, had the confidence to ship her to Keeneland in the Raven run and didn't work out so well, but she comes back. She's at 9-2. You got the other Baffert entered in Brilliantly, who maybe kind of did the dirty work as the favorite last time, and that was her first start since the beginning of March. And then the 11, who I've actually gotten third. I thought she could have an outside chance if she could clear from the outside. I thought her race in the Chillingworth was pretty good. Obviously, we were supposed to see Tamara come back in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, and you could make the case that she would have been favored in there with Copian out. But unfortunately, we didn't see her. But I do like the fact that Rosario is on top. I think if he's aggressive from the outside, she can maybe clear and get a piece of things. But there are just so many directions to go in the La Brea. So we'll go ahead and move on because we do have 3 more races to talk about on Sunday. And the next one that we'll be talking about is race 9. And race 9 is the San Gabriel. Our stakes action continues. $100,000 purse, a mile and an eighth on the turf for the older boys. And the morning line favorite is quite the lukewarm one. And the number 4, Stay Hot for Irad Ortiz and Peter Urton. Second choice is the number 8, Astronomer at 9-2 for Fresu and Simon Callahan. And the third choice is the number 5, St. Anthony for Juan Hernandez and Neil Drysdale. Here are the picks up on the screen. I'm going 7-11-9. Jackson's going 11-1-7. Ryan's going 9-2-7, and Howard is going 9-4-8. Howard, we'll go to you. You're thinking similarly to Ryan. You're going Cabo Spirit, a speedy type. For there he is again, Mike Smith and Papa Vadromo, who for some time over the fall seemed like he couldn't lose a race.
Well, I went with the 9 because, I wanted to be smart like Ryan. I mean, whatever Ryan says and whatever he picks, I try to go with, even though I had no idea, of course, that he had the source on top. I want to ask Ryan a question, man, if you want to put us on screen, Noah.
Yeah.
Isn't the number 9 in this race one of the more underrated horses out west? I mean, I'm always wrong about Cabo Spirit. I never think he's really that good. All this horse does is run huge every time. Now, I know he's running a lot against only West Coast distance horses, which frankly have been a little bit mad in the last, few years. I think we honestly could say that in general. But, I mean, I think this horse is pretty darn good. He just never seems to get the respect. That's my first thought, Ryan. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Yes and no. I say he's He's obviously he's a Kentucky bred, but there's a state bred named Kings River Knight this horse reminds me a lot of that, where he's really only good and he has these consistent big numbers, but his biggest always come on these slow paces when he's able to get loose up front. When the pace gets hot, he often does not run his best race, even when the pace is moderate, like in the Thunder Road last February, didn't run well at all. San Gabriel. But then you see, obviously, when you have those blue-coated, time figs and you see them going a mile and they're going a half in 47 and change, which out west is pretty much crawling, all things considered. But that's when he runs his best races. So he's very consistent. He always runs a good race, but I don't think that he's the caliber of some of those really good horses. I have him in here because I think he's as loose as can be, and I think that we've seen when the Santa Anita turf is a little bit wet and it's going to have some give in it, for sure, it typically kind of favors those front-running horses more often than not. And Mike Smith is going to get this one out to the lead. Couldn't do it last time going solo up front just because there was some other speed in the Seabiscuit. I anticipate this to be kind of one of those blue-coated time figures, and he's gonna hang around late.
Well, what's interesting, Ryan, is they've got Astronomer, the time for him, on the lead. Astronomer's never been on the lead, but he's been involved in some very, very fast paces recently. I feel the same way Ryan does in general, Noah, and I don't know if you agree with this also, Ryan, but I almost like the fact that it's 1.1 miles instead of a mile because, in theory, the pace will be slower and you can slow it down. I mean, there's just not a lot of speed in here, and I don't love a lot of horses in here. I think I'll be shocked if a horse wins by more than length, guys, in this race. I think it's completely wide open, but he won't be 8-1. At 6-1 with a horse that's going to be, or 5-1 that's going to be on the lead or sitting just off. I think the 6 is going to go, by the way. So I think it's going to be 6-9, for the first mile of this race, and then I think his class will show. I like the position that Cowboy Spirit's in today, Sunday.
I think you guys know that Astronomer is a pet of mine. Why this horse has never been to the lead, I don't know, because he clearly doesn't love to pass horses and get in the winner's circle. So get him on the lead and see if he can sustain it. But that's for another day.
I like it. Ryan, I got a question.
I agree. That's why I said I agree, Jackson.
Six is making the front.
Why would he be in this race otherwise? Like, what are you doing if you're not going to lead? Well, we've said that before. I shouldn't say that, but anyway.
Ryan, how's your gas situation, by the way? I meant to ask.
SDG&E just got here, and I'm currently waiting for him to get back to me, but I do have to run in about a minute or two.
You might want to clarify that, Noah.
Yeah, that is a.
It's not like a personal problem there for a second.
Yeah, it's not a personal gas leak. It is a house gas leak. So these are different things. These are different.
I intentionally left it up in the air just in case our audio listeners were just curious about maybe the bowel movements of Ryan Anderson. But anyways,
whoa, pun intended.
Whoa.
We'll move on to some other runners because that's what I'd rather talk about. 911 Turbo Jackson, you've got him on top. I've chased him for a long time, and boy, does he not like to win. But I'm kind of with you. I could maybe see him win it on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like he is going to get the perfect trip in this race because I think you're going to have the 6 and the 9. They're going to go. Astronomer's not going to be too far out of it. And I think 911 Turbo is going to slot himself right behind that trio. And after that, you just got a lot of deeper closers in this field. And I just think he's going to get the jump on those. And, watching that most recent race back, the Hollywood Turf Cup, he was pretty close to a fast pace. And it was kind of a similar trip I envisioned here that I was okay.
Sorry about that.
What in the name of
I was hoping.
Holy.
Watching it back, I thought he was going to get the jump on the closers, and Truly Quality came to him on the outside and kind of trapped him inside, and Truly Quality ended up getting the jump on him after all that. So I thought he had some trouble in there. He never got out till it was way too late, and I thought he actually ran fine and they finished third after being close to a fast pace. And I don't know if Mount App is really what he wants to do. I think his 9 furlongs is going to be perfect for him. So with the outside post, with the switch, the best turf jockey out here in Hector Barrios. He's got plenty of numbers that are fast enough to win. He's going to be a price in here. And I just really don't want anybody coming out of the Seabiscuit where they all lost to a 70-1 shot. No one had any excuse in that race. I'm tossing everyone coming out of that.
I like the pick. It's a bit of an Hector I trust pick for me, as I've got him in second. The outside post is not ideal, but if anyone's going to work out a trip from there, it is going to be Hector Barrios. I will leave the discussion to you guys because I'm I'm close to bursting out laughing right now.
Why is that your screensaver?
Yeah, that's an incredible screen.
Do you love yourself that much?
As Charlie Freeman would like to say, it is my employee of the month photo, which is every month, by the way, because I'm the best member. But anyways, Suchet, I've got on top. I know he was a bit of an Achilles heel for us when we watched that race on the rail July 26th. Unfortunately, couldn't get to. I think it was Audio's Cole that day, and he had been a little disappointing in some of those races after that. But anytime you win by 3 1/4 lengths on a turf course, especially at Del Mar, I mean, boy, is that convincing. And I'm thinking that maybe he's finally putting the pieces together. Sadler, obviously thought something of him to get him over here from France, and I like the way that he's going. So I'm going to go with him. Maybe the big number wasn't such a fluke, and I'm hoping that I get 6-1 on him. Jackson, you've got him third. Ryan, you've got him third as well. Howard, you don't have him anywhere, which makes total sense. I mean, there's a 4-1 favorite. It's a wide open race. But Howard, you got
well, two things. I got him as a B. I think he can win, number one. And by the time form, guys, he absolutely fits. Just want to mention that for people that are fans of Time Form US. He's actually just as fast as Astronomer and Cabo Spirit from that last race, not the previous ones, though.
Agree. Stay hot, Howard. You are actually the only one that's got him in the mix. You've got him second. I guess he could be favored in here, but I don't know. What do you think?
You know what? I've chased this horse a lot, and he frustrates me. If you think I'm going to let IRAD beat me out of this pick 5, or turf pick 3 at 7-2, you're crazy. I mean, sometimes he's just the difference, guys. And you shake your head like, how did IRAD win that race? This horse is really good. He just comes up a little bit short sometimes, but like Jackson said, I mean, he's got the 11 on top who can't win allowance races. And I'm not poo-pooing Jackson's pick. I'm just making a point that there's no killers in here. So if Stayhawk, I don't know what distance he wants. This is a very frustrating animal, but to leave him off the ticket to me, I'm not saying you guys are going to, but to leave him off of a pick 5 ticket to me seems a little silly, mainly because of IRAD, to be honest.
I can't possibly bet this horse after his last.
I'm not using this horse anywhere ever.
Okay.
I'm with Jack.
You guys know this horse better than me. He
followed the 70-1 shot last time and finished last. The 70-1 shot won the damn race. I mean, I guess IRAD can move him up. He has to bounce back for sure, and at that price he's going to be.
You guys look at the Santa Anita record; it's pretty darn good.
Yeah,
just saying.
Some would say that his
Delmar record is pretty damn good too.
Some might say he's 6 or
7 in the exact. You knew exactly where I was going with that. Yeah, no, I get the case. I'm really not. I don't feel super strongly one way or the other. But we'll move on to some other runners. Ryan, I guess let's end the conversation with you because you've got the 2 in the mix. Mondego's a horse I've liked in the past. Has run in some big races at big prices and has frankly outrun his odds in some of them, especially if you go back to the Del Mar handicap at the end of August. And you've got him in second at 8-1. What would you like about him?
Yeah, you want to talk about a jockey that finds lengths in a horse that weren't previously there. It's Flavien Prat. Add on top of that McCarthy and Flavien, when they team up, they are very strong in graded stakes efforts, especially out on the West Coast. But if you're doing graded stakes, they are 7 for 19. They have a $4.20 plus ROI. So to get the best jockey in the world, you get a positive ROI when he teams up here. And Pratt lands here when you'd have to think that he had a few options in this race. He rides horses for Peter Urton quite a bit. He probably had more than one way to go, and he ends up on Mondego for Michael McCarthy. So that shows me that this horse probably is going to run much better than he showed in the Hollywood Turf Cup. It's a little bit of a concern that he's going to come, from well out of it. I would expect him to probably be last early. But Pratt knows this turf course as good as anybody, and as good as Hector is. I think when Pratt's in town, Hector's going to have to take a back seat to a guy like Flavien Prat. So I'll leave you guys with that as I got to run.
All right, take off.
Oh, everything's good, Ryan. Where's Kimura, guys? I haven't been paying attention. Why is he not riding?
That is a good question.
The race?
Is he in the Middle East?
He is riding here earlier. He's just not in these races. He rides race 4. Is the
Okay,
one of the last ones I see him.
That's weird. Well, I hope everything's okay, Ryan, with the house.
Oh yeah, no. As long as the horse doesn't or the house doesn't explode, we'll be all right. But
Yeah, that would suck.
Happy holidays, everybody, and I'll see you guys later.
Merry Christmas, Ryan.
Take care. All right, and then there were 3. We will go ahead and move on to the penultimate leg of the races on Sunday on opening day at Santa Anita. But before that, let me remind everyone that you can buy PPs and clock reports from the Daily Racing Form. When you buy past performances, you are able to get those. You can subscribe to a full card. You can subscribe to a package. You can get a whole meet. They've got a ton of stuff to offer over on drf.com. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. Let's move to the second to last race of the day, as I'll get that up on the screen here in just a second. And this is arguably the feature of the race. It's the Grade 1 Malibu. Grade 1 action continues with race 10. Jackson says it is the feature of the day, so we'll go with what Jackson says. Field of 10, morning line favorite is the number 9 Barnes for Jose Ortiz and Bob Baffert. You can see Baffert has 5 horses in here, and I believe they're all the top 5 choices. So if Baffert doesn't win this race, I would probably be quite surprised. Second choice is another one of his runners in the 8 Cornucopian for Pratt. And again, Bob Baffert at 7-2. And the co-second choice, a couple past to his inside, is the 5 Midland Money for Juan Hernandez. Let's see who we're going with in the quote-unquote feature, according to Jackson Muniz. I'm going 9-8-5. Jackson's going 9-8-4. Ryan's going 8-4-5. And Howard is going 8-10-9. So we're split 2-2. But Howard, unfortunately, because Ryan left us, you're going to have to do the heavy lifting and convincing us why Cornucopian is going to win on Sunday.
I believe this might be my play of the day at Santa Anita, which is really ironic, guys, because I have not liked this horse in some of his races. Let's take a look at this horse. Remember, this horse was a major buzz horse, right? Oh, yeah. 1.1 million. I mean, completely freaked at Oaklawn. Then threw him right in the Arkansas Derby, which I didn't really have a problem with. The problem that I had was the ride, where he just got completely caught up in those ridiculous pace we've ever seen, and then completely flopped at 15 cents to the dollar in an aqueduct race. Okay. I'm not sure what's happened since, and I know Jackson knows as well because I talked to him about it today. The way this horse is working with blinkers off tells me a few things, guys. First of all, he clearly outworked Barnes on December 20th. Maybe Jackson feels differently about the completely, but Barnes was, I know it's just a work, I get it. Barnes was asking at a certain point of that work, deep in stretch. Cornucopian was just sitting and went by him. The fact that this horse has been working well, but most importantly, Noah and Jackson, with blinkers off and behind horses. It is very, very clear this horse was early in his career was a super speedy, just unbelievably talented, but had no idea how to rate or run in general. They clearly taught this horse how to rate. I love Flavien here. I do not expect him to be on the lead. I think he's going to sit right off of Midland Money. And I don't know if I'm going to get 7-2, guys, but I'm expecting a monster effort from Cornucopian and a huge 2026 with probably not races like the Breeders' Cup Classic, probably more like the Bent Mile and etc. I think this horse is super duper talented, and I love him on Sunday.
Somebody told me that there was, a horse that would run off the screen and win by 4 or 5 in this race. I'd probably have him at the top of the list. With that being said, full transparency, I actually haven't seen that work, but I will take a look at that because I do like to see that stuff, and I, do my homework. Jackson, obviously you saw the work, it sounds like. What did you think about that and his chances overall?
Yeah, I think Cornucopian probably worked. I think he did work better than him. I don't know if there was a huge gap in between the two, but he definitely is coming back well. So no doubt about that. It's just a concern for me how this horses like this are going to come back off a long layoff after they really threw him to the wolves, and rightfully so. I think when you have a horse of this caliber, he deserved a shot at it. But then they bring him back in 4 weeks, shipped him again to New York, and he was awful. So if the best version of him shows up, then yeah, he can be right there. I think if you have him at 7-2 and Barnes, who's much more proven at 3-1 and a better post, I'm taking Barnes 10 times out of 10. I think he's a much better horse at this point.
Who's going to be favored? Who's do you think Barnes will be lower than Cornucopian? I think he will.
I think so. I don't think it'll be a huge difference.
You don't think so, Noah?
I just think with all the buzz that he had as an early 3-year-old, I think, and people are going to see the work too. If the work's really that spectacular, I think they'll go nuts for him.
Well, it wasn't. He didn't like outwork him by 3 lengths. It's just the way he did it. I'm surprised you said that. No, I sort of agree with Jackson. People see a 97 buyer win by 8, and Cornucopian's been off for a while. It's an interesting conversation. But anyway,
yeah,
they're both really damn good. Let's just say that.
Well, that was kind of why I liked Barnes a little bit, because I thought you'd get somewhere around that 3-1, where with Cornucopian, there might be a small outside chance that he might be a little too low for me to take or my liking. So, but like Jackson said, he's kind of the proven commodity. Boy, that Jerkins ankle, you love to see that, Jackson, where he flopped at Parks at 2-5, and then comes back and runs a hole in the wind in the Perryville. We haven't seen him since, and I haven't seen his works, but he's good enough to know that I think he's going to be ready to fire on Sunday. So I went his direction. I've got Cornucopian second. If it runs 9-8 or 8-9, I wouldn't really be surprised. And then I've got Midland money in there just because if it wasn't such a tough spot like this, I would be absolutely jonesing to bet him after his race last time, because I bet him pretty healthily, and I did not expect him to be last going into the far turn in that race. I thought he'd be a little bit closer. Throw the blinkers on him, which I do like, but I think he's probably just a cut below the 8 and the 9. So I went with those two on top. I've got him in third. And the other one that I guess we should probably talk about was Goal Oriented, who you've got in second. Howard, coming off of a bit of a flop, and boy, was he disappointing in the dirt mile last year, or not last year, but this year. It wasn't all that long ago, but obviously he's got numbers before that make him a big player.
I find this to be a really interesting spot, guys, because I think the argument that you or Jackson might say is, well, doesn't he want 2 turns? Does he want it longer? I mean, look, he got a 91 in his debut going 6, and then he went long because they were going the Triple Crown Trail. He's similar to Cornucopian. He's just a slower version of him early. But I absolutely love the outside post for this horse. I actually thought he had a chance to win the dirt mile. I'm not going to sit here and, sugarcoat it and say and lie to everyone. I actually thought he could beat Nisos, but he got off slow, and I don't think he wants the inside, guys. I've watched this horse a lot in his career. I think he wants the outside, and he's going to get an outside trip. He's going to get an outside flow, unencumbered, because he's sort of like a locomotive, right, guys? He's not like a push button type, but he's going to sit a clear trip in the outside, make him move 3-4 wide. And I think he's talented, and I sort of like him in this spot a little bit. You're going to get an okay price. Again, I think the key is the blinkers off and an outside post. I think I'd much rather have a horse out there, Jackson, than in behind 6 or 7 or 8 horses trying to find room. This is a big boy, and I think he wants to be outside. So if you guys don't like him, I totally respect that. I think he's interesting here.
That's not that I don't like him, but I could see the point where, the fact that they bring him back fairly quickly off of that race, I think is probably a good sign and a feather in his cap. Jackson, you've got the 4 and third. Ryan's got him in second. Is there a case to be made that this is the one non-Baffert that's got a shot in here?
I think if the pace completely collapses, then he can win, but I don't. Probably not. I mean, he needs a lot of things to go his way for him to be competitive in here. As far as Barnes goes, though, I didn't talk about him yet. So real quick with Barnes, the time form number I think came back a lot stronger than the buyer did, if I remember correctly. I want to say it was like a 128 for the most recent race at Keeneland, and I would tend to trust that number more than the buyer for that race specifically, because the pace was so hot, and you see those red fractions, and you see the 154 early pace figure. I mean, that is sizzling. And I think when you have a pace that's that fast, time form does upgrade him even more for something like that. So if he runs that number on Sunday, this is not even a horse race. He's going to win if he runs that same number back. It's just a matter of can he do it or not. And I'm hoping everyone sees the Parks race and says what happened in that race. And believe me, it's a fair question, but it might help the price in a spot like this where he's drawn outside. He is potentially going to, he's going to be within a length of lead if they choose to be. I just think he's the best horse, and I think he's going to be a pretty fair price on Sunday.
Well, the problem for me is, and I like Barnes too, Jackson, I've got him third, but that last number is completely aberrational. It comes out of absolutely nowhere. His best time form before that, I'm looking, was a 124 in the Jerkins. So that last race was 5 time form points better, and I've got an interesting piece of information on time form. At 7 furlongs, that race puts him approximately 2 to 3 lengths better than anything he's ever run before. I'm not saying he can't win. I'm not saying bet against. I'm just giving people perspective.
Yeah, but my counter to that would be, even if he runs a 124, isn't he supposed to win still?
No, there's a lot of horses that could run 124.
But they're not doing it sprinting. The goal-oriented goal-oriented is doing it going 2 turns.
That is probably true. I can't push back on that.
That's
It's a great race. I mean, it does seem like it's going to be one of the Baffords. It's tough to make a case for someone else, but they all deserve a shot. I mean, they all deserve to be in there. So
actually, Midland Money got a 123 in the Jerkins. That was a lightning fast pace. Let me ask you guys a quick question before we move on, Noah. Percent chance that a non-Baffert is in the top 3?
Top 3?
Top 3.
I'm going to go...
I mean, Jackson's got Speedy Wilson in 3rd, so I
go 5.
5%?
5%.
I agree with you. Very, very low to me.
I'll say 33.
Whoa.
33.
Wow.
Top 3,
okay.
Only one horse.
You know what that means? There's a some percent chance.
Okay.
You know, we didn't even talk about. I thought Modus Bestier's a little interesting too, because
he's fast.
All those Baffert horses don't necessarily need the lead. And if he gets loose in there, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he, hangs on for a slice. He's gotten really good lately.
Yeah,
he's fast.
Absolutely. I mean, we could talk about this race for another half hour, but we got one more race to talk about. And just based off of the vibe that I've gotten from these two gents, it is quite the doozy to end the race, or end the day, on Sunday. And it ends with race 11, the Grade 1 American Oaks. We saw pretty much a superstar win this race last year, and She Feels Pretty. And I'll tell you what, there's no She Feels Pretty in this race this year, but it is wide open. Morning line favorites, the number 10 at Sela, the Irish bred for Pereira and Baltus at 5-2. Second choice is the number 2 Will Then for Pratt and Jonathan Thomas at 7-2. And the third choice is the number 8, Totally Justified. A new acquisition for Anamia and Juan Hernandez aboard. Let's see who we are going with to close out the day on Sunday. I'm going 2-9-10. Jackson's going 10-8-3. Ryan's going 2-9-10 as well. And Howard is going 6-2-8. Jackson, we'll go with you. We'll go with the foreign shipper to begin our discussion. What do you know about her? Obviously, you think she can best this field on Sunday.
Yeah, well, let's just start with what I know about this field. And what I know about this field is that it's outside of her, it's definitely not a Grade 1 group. And I mean, these horses they're just not that fast, to be blunt about it. So if there's a new face in here that can run, they're going to be very tough to beat. And talk to a buddy who does his own numbers and everything, and had a really successful Breeders' Cup, making figures. And based on what he has, this race, as long as she shows up, she's going to crush. I mean, it's not even close. Look at the horse she's been running against too. I mean, Fallen Angel, Cinderella's Dream, Lake Victoria. No, she's not necessarily, right there with those, but she's not that far either. And her best race this year, arguably, came at Leopardstown, which is the closest configuration you're going to find to an American-style racetrack overseas. So I think if she shows up, she's gonna win. I really believe it's as simple as that. I don't think the rest of this field is that good.
I mean, numbers are numbers. If numbers are there, there's not a ton to argue. I guess my counter argument would be, I mean, those are at a mile, and now she's got to go a mile and a quarter. Now I know a mile overseas, a little more like a mile and a 16th, a mile and an 1/8. But I mean, another quarter of a mile. I mean, that's pretty substantial. Howard, you actually ever know her. What were your big concerns?
I'll tell you what, I respect whoever Jackson talked to. Guys, something I pride myself a lot on is these European horses, because of course I talked to Davey Lane, and I've been watching a lot of more Euros in the last 4 or 5 years. I could be completely wrong. I don't like this horse at all at the price she's going to be at. Now, don't get me wrong. She can absolutely win this race. No, Jackson's exactly right. She's been in Group 1 races. But look at the odds, guys. She's been 50, 25, 16. She really, other than the matron, she really hasn't been close. And if she's really a distance horse, guys, in Europe, she'd be running in the classic races. I think the thought by the connections, like, well, she's just facing really good Group 1 horses, and so this is a weak field. And so everything that Jackson said is correct. I'm not going to say that he's wrong. I just think she's going to be a very low price. Also, Pereira riding, like he's capable, but if she was that kind of monster, wouldn't she have someone else on her? I mean, just she's going to be 9-5 for no damn reason other than she's faced really good horses. I just don't like her. She can absolutely win. I could be very wrong. I don't like her at the price at all. That's just my opinion on her. We'll see.
You make a good
Howard,
point.
to be honest with you, Howard, I think she could be like 4-5 in here. I mean, I won't be
The
surprised.
time form numbers don't say that she's much better than a lot of these. Now, I'm not sure the numbers that your guy, like I said, I respect whoever you talk to, but the time form numbers don't say it. And she's been 1,000-1 in these races and losing by 3, 4, and 5 lengths. I mean, it's not like except for the matron. She's just not for me, but I could be wrong.
I agree with absolutely everything you said, especially if she's going to be favored. I mean, you're supposed to take her on if you're not in love with her. The only counter thing I would say is, what would a horse like Will then be in those races? I mean, she might be 200-1 in those races.
Sure, yeah, but yeah, it's very situational. I agree with Noah a lot. I'm telling you guys right now, if this was a distance horse, she'd be in distance races in Europe. She never went past a mile. We have no idea. Maybe she'll explode, Jackson, and blow by the field. I don't know. Yeah. But there's a reason why they've kept her to mile. And yes, they can get, you're right, Noah, they can get another eighth, but another 2/8, another half mile, quarter mile, excuse me. Yeah. Math. Anyway, I made my point. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Ryan's got the 2 on top. I've got the 2 on top as well. Boy, has she been quite disappointing ever since she won the China Doll. They took her to Churchill Downs. She's disappointing that day. And, I thought she had some good chances to win with some favorable trips in both the San Clemente and the Del Mar Oaks. Jonathan Thomas took her up to Woodbine. She was a little disappointing as the 2-1 favorite that day. But I was pretty impressed with the way she held on in that red carpet. And that was the first time she went long too. Maybe this is just a new dimension for her. And she's going to be forward. Pratt's going to have her in a great position. She got a perfect post with the 2 posts as they start down the hill. Hopefully can get in good position, not too far off the speed with her. I feel like if any time is the time, it's going to be her. Maybe they go crazy for the 10 and I get that 7 at 2 or maybe even more on her. So I'm going to go in her direction. I've never really loved her before, but I do like the new dimension with her, getting her closer, stretching her out. I think she can make some noise. So I've got her in the mix. And Howard, you've also got her second.
Yeah, I mean, she almost beat Lush Lips guys in the Del Mar Oaks. It was a bunch field. I totally agree. I don't have much to say. Yeah. My big angle with her is that maybe she wants to go long, and that last race was the wake-up call. If she didn't have that last line in her page, no, I would have felt completely differently. But that last line makes me think she's extremely live in the spot.
I agree. And another one that's gone long before, hasn't done it as of recent, but has some decent numbers going long, is a horse that you've got in the mix, Jackson. You've got her second. Howard, you've got her third. New acquisition, like I mentioned, for Anamia. They take the blinkers off. A little bit of a refresh button, with her. I do like the angle here, Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to trust her most recent form, right? Those last 2 races they were not great, but I think over the summer she ran well. She ran really well at Churchill Downs in that race. I guess that was 5 back now. I mean, she ran a monster race that day on a fast pace against Fione. Then came back at Saratoga, didn't run great. Then she actually ran okay in the Saratoga Oaks again on top of a fast pace. I mean, those efforts over the summer are good enough to put her right there. I'm just worried about what she's done recently. So that's kind of why I have underneath. But I'm really all about the 10 on the win end in this race.
I like it. And then the other one to talk about is As Catch Can, who's a little more of an up-and-comer. It seems like she's got like kind of a constant progression with her. She would really have to run her best to get a part of it. But I did like the way that she won that Colonial race. I think that was a race that maybe Kyle and I had handicapped on betting and boozing. And I think we were at Kentucky Downs watching that race. That place was a bog that day. I was surprised they even ran that day. I like the way she won. I mean, this is quite the aggressive spot, but you get Rosario. Thomas could have very well just had the 2 in there, but I'm going with the Jonathan Thomas 1-2 punch and the 2 and the 9. Like I said, it's a very difficult race to end the day, but I think she's got an outside shot. So
can I talk about my top pick real quick, if you don't mind?
Oh yeah, you can finish this conversation with the number 6.
No,
15-1.
It's okay. No one cares. It's a flyer, guys. I'll be brief. Her best race, take a breath, was going longer. And she actually beat Will Then in that race, by the way, guys. So if you like Will Then, why not take a breath at 5 times the price? she might be similar to the Euro, where maybe she doesn't want to go long because in Europe, but then she went long and ran very well. Now, granted, that was a fast pace. It's a flyer, guys. It's IRAD. Look, he's not going to win every race out there, but he's the best. Him and Flavio are the best two jocks in the country, guys. I mean, so IRAD at a price. Maybe the horse wants to go long. And last thing, Time Form has this as a fast pace with a 1, 8, and 11. So maybe it'll fall apart, which actually might help the Euro, Jackson. But maybe it'll fall apart and something weird will happen. I don't have confidence in anyone in this race, similar to the La Brea.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, this is a very difficult race and not the only difficult race on the card at Santa Anita. We'll go ahead and move on to best bets, unless, Jackson, you got something else to talk about?
I was going to ask if you guys have any thoughts on Cliffs. She was the other one if that was a tiny bit interesting, but
yeah.
Kyle would be disappointed if we didn't talk about Cherie's horse, so we'll do it for Kyle.
Well,
I thought she was a little bit slow, Jackson, but was not impossible. I have her like a C. And I don't think I gave you a best bet, no, actually. So when you get to me, I'll just make up something.
Yeah, you did not, and Ryan didn't either, but it's okay because he's not here to talk.
My fault. I've never been on these shows before. I don't know how they work.
Yeah. Jackson, your best bet, you're going with a win bet on the number 11 in race 9, which if
9-11 Turbo. Get it? Race 9, number 11. See how that
I
works out?
like it.
I just realized that right now.
This horse in the winner's circle.
See,
Well
this
done.
horse needs something like that to win because it's been so long since he's found the winner's circle. He needs some fun little numbers like that. Yeah, I like him in there. He's 10-1. I just don't like those favorites in that race at all. I think they're vulnerable. Can they win? Sure. Do I want to bet him at 3-1? No, not really. So that race seems ripe for an upset. I think he's going to find himself on a really good trip, not too far off the speed, get the first jump on the closers. And I think he's cutting back to a distance that's kind of been his best historically, that 9 furlong, 10 furlong range. And I think he had a little bit of trouble last time at Del Mar. I think the trip is a little underrated. So give me him at 10-1 with the jockey switch to the best turf jock in Southern California.
Good. I like it. Good luck with the 11 in the 9th, which is 9-11 Turbo. Howard, you did not give me the best bet, but you can go ahead and give me one, and I'll throw it up on the screen here in a sec.
I'm going to stick with a win bet on Cornucopian. So that'd be the 8 in race 10, Noah. Race 10, the 8 Cornucopian. I just think Sunday might be his day, and I think Sunday is going to be his coming out party, so to speak, in terms of a stake race. I think we're going to see huge things from him. Again, I don't think he's really a 2-turn horse necessarily, although he might be eventually. If he's 3-1 or higher, I'm going to be betting him. And Cabo Spiro would be my secondary one. I just think he's very logical in a race where I don't like a lot of horses. And 8-1 is a silly morning line, I think. But anyway, that's what it is. So mainly Cornucopian, guys. It's the race of the day. I'm a little bit bummed there aren't East Coast horses in there. Patch Adams retired, right? Am I right about that?
Yes.
Okay. But I mean, there's plenty of others that could have come. I'm just sort of bummed. It's basically, other than Nisos, who wins the Baffert bragging rights, right? But it's going to be a really fun race. It's seriously talented horses in there.
Definitely, for sure. Good luck with your best bet.
Thank you.
My best bet, I'm going with a win bet in race 8 on Her Laugh, which
Get it? But it's his laugh.
I was going to say 8th and the 8th is, pretty cool, but it's not as cool as, having the 11th and the 9th if you've got 9 and 11 in your name. So, I can't quite one-up Jackson on the tournament battlefield, and I can't quite one-up him on the best bet. So we'll just have to leave it at that. I think
nice pick, Noah. I think she's very live there. I'm curious to see how she runs.
Thank you. I don't get that, gratitude from these two guys that are normally on the show. So I do appreciate that.
Well, maybe because your best bets are so rarely winning.
Yeah.
I'm just proud he didn't pick a 2-1 shot like he usually does. And my horse is going to be.
Oh,
that
Jackson?
is not the case.
Yeah.
The horse I picked
Wow.
As proud as I am for you on that pick, I can't believe you even debated whether the Malibu was the feature of the card. I mean, of course it is. What are you talking about? It's hard.
By the way, no, I know we have another show for. I know we have another show for this, but I want to personally give another shout out to Jackson for winning the Big Twin Spires contest Saturday. It's awesome, man. And now he is a 1.5 seats, I believe, with the KDBC. So congratulations.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll give him his glory some other show. We'll wrap things up for a gassy Ryan, Jackson, and Howard. This has been Noah Meagher and episode 59 of Pacific Horseplayers, covering opening day and previewing the stakes races on the card at Santa Anita. And until next time, PHP out.